Welcome back to the breakdown, and today we're going to talk about the biggest tournament in club football, the Champions League. And we're going to talk about three clubs specifically as to why they will be having the season that they're going to have, who their incomings, who their outgoings are, some of their top players that will need to perform, and we'll even take a look at the domestic leagues and how they've succeeded or failed at the start of this season in 24-25 campaign. But without further ado, let's go ahead, let's get into it with our first team, Benfica. Now, Benfica have lost some key pieces to their club. Take a look at João Neves, 60 million from PSG they've gotten for him. Take a look at Marcus Leonardo, 40 million they've received for him. David Neres leaving for 28 million. Rafa and João Mario both going to Besiktas. João Mario being on loan, Rafa being on a free transfer. We'll just have to wait and see how those turn out for them. But it's kind of looking a little shaky there on the departure side for Benfica, that is. And I really don't know if those were the best departures for them. I don't know if those are rivals. Obviously, we'll just have to wait and see. Benfica is just a talent factory, it feels like, these past few years specifically. Maybe they don't transfer to where they are and be a success there, but as a transfer on paper, they are getting big deals across the table, and that's because of the way they are performing in the Champions League, in Europa League, in the league, so on and so forth. Just unreal talents that come out of Benfica, and João Neves is just the most recent one of those. Taking a look at their fixtures, we're not going to talk about results yet, but they've got Crvena Zvezda. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that. Sorry, my pronunciation of these kind of European countries aren't always the best. Away, Atletico Madrid home, Feyenoord home, Bayern away, Monaco away, Bologna at home, Barcelona at home, and Juve away. It's a very tough draw, just right off the bat. Very difficult challenges they are going to face. It'll be very interesting to see how some of these players perform. Obviously, you've got players with experience brought in with players with a lot of talent, some talented players that were already there in Di Maria, in Otamendi. Some young talent such as Orkun Koku, the midfielder, Turkish midfielder, I believe it is, and then the Portuguese center back Antonio Silva, who looks like he's going to be a star in the making. I wouldn't be surprised if come January we already have clubs sniffing around his signature, or even as late as this next summer for the 2025 summer. I could see him moving to a big powerhouse club in the near future. Taking a look at some of the arrivals of Benfica, you've got Vangelis Palvidis of Alkmaar for 18 million. Taking a look at some of his stats, though, we go over to his page. Non-penalty goals, 0.65 per 90, ranked very highly among the men's next 14th competitions. Played 3,613 minutes for AZ Alkmaar last season, as well as ability to progress the ball from Vangelis. I'm going to pronounce and probably butcher his name completely this video, but Greek striker from Alkmaar. 3.21 shot creating actions, 2.22 progressive passes, 2.19 progressive carries, 1.44 successful take on. He's also receiving these progressive passes as well, 8.1 progressive passes per 90. Among forwards, he is a top player just outside of the top 5 leagues. And it'll be interesting to see how he does this season. Coming in 4 matches so far in Liga NOS, or Premier League it is called now. 1 goal, 1 assist in 341 minutes. Taking a look at expected goals, 1.3 expected goals, 0.8 expected assists. And he's already got 17 shot creating actions this season. So fantastic start for him so far. The goals and assists will come. It'll just be interesting to see how he gets on here in the future. Next player we're going to highlight is a Galatasaray player who is yet to join so far. He signed, I believe, on September 3rd or something like that, and going into international break, he will be making the move to Benfica. But so far in Super League, in the Turkish Super League, that is, 2 goals, 2 assists in 3 matches. Fantastic start for him in Turkey, but can he do it in Portugal? We'll just have to wait and see. I think he will be a good signing, especially for 12 million. Taking a look at his stats last season, 18 goal contributions, 12 goals, 6 assists, and won the league with Galatasaray at just 24 years old. I think he'll be a great player going forward. He plays, I believe, on the left. Yes, left side midfielder, left attacking mid, left wing position. So it'll be interesting how him and Di Maria do on that left side. Obviously, Rafa has left, so it kind of clears up space there for him. Benjamin Rollheiser played on loan for Benfica last year, I believe it was, and has now come in on a full term basis. 9.5 million for Estudiantes. Only played 19 minutes this season. One shot creating action from left back. Not expecting too much from him, but will be a solid player moving forward for Benfica. Don't know if he'll make the impact he may want to make this season in the Champions League, though. Up next, we have Jean-Nicolas Bent. Plays kind of all over the place, but taking a look at his last season, coming from Germany with, I believe he was playing with he's playing with Heidenheim in the Bundesliga, where they finished 8th, which was a very, very good season for them, especially coming up just winning the second Bundesliga and then playing 31 matches in the Bundesliga. 8 goals, 11 assists from him. He's kind of played all over the place, midfield, attacking mid, but comparing him to midfielders, 0.37, or attacking mid and wingers, 0.37 assists per 90 in Europe's top 5 leagues. Played 2,400 minutes. I think he's a fantastic deal. Obviously, Heidenheim wants to improve on him, but it doesn't mean he doesn't still have a job to do at Benfica, as well as being just 25 years old. Still has a lot to prove and could make a move back to Germany if he continues to perform the way he has been now for Benfica. Up next is another player that spent time on loan at Benfica last season. It is Alvaro Carreras, on loan from, I believe, Manchester United at the time. Played last season 11 matches, 1 goal, 1 assist. Will be expected to play a little bit more of a role, already starting 2 matches this season, making 4 appearances, playing 280 minutes for the club. Spanish Youth International, 21 years old. Could expect big things from him this season. Could be very interesting. Obviously coming up through Manchester United's academy. Comparative to fullbacks in his position. Granted, he's only played 847 minutes. He does have a lot of good stats to look at. 1.49 successful take-ons, 2.98 progressive carries, 5.95 progressive passes per 90, and 0.11 assists per 90, which is decent, but not fantastic. Also, he is 6'1", so as a left-sided defender, left fullback, he can do good things for you at that left back position in the air as well. So he's a physical presence as well, only being 154 pounds, not massive player, but 6'1" is large for a left back in the modern game. Final transfer arrival we're going to talk about is Renato Sanchez on loan, coming in from PSG. He's obviously played a season at Roma, where he only got 7 appearances and 1 start, 1 goal. Not fantastic amount of stats right there, but do expect bigger things. He's already made 2 appearances, only played 65 minutes for Benfica, but could do much, much better as the season progresses. It'll be interesting to see what he does. I really would love to see his career revive, but I mean, he's 27 years old at this point. I feel like it was just the other day when he transferred to Bayern Munich from Benfica, but that was back in 2016-17. It's been almost a decade since he's last been at Benfica, and I hope the best for him in his career, where he, won the league with Benfica at just 17 years old. But it's time to talk about results. Benfica have 2 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. Draw coming in the opening day against Famalicão, I believe is how you pronounce it. They beat Casapia, Estrela Amadora, drawn with Moriense. So kind of not exactly the list of results you want to start the season. They play Santa Clara on the 14th, just here in a few days, and then they open their Champions League matchups. So just have to wait and see how they get started there. Decent start to the league, not fantastic, but 2 clean sheets, a 1-1 draw. They've been scoring all but 1 match. So just kind of an average start to the season for Benfica. They shore up a few things, get this new player in Akturkoglu in. I believe I may have butchered his name as well, but could be a very, very exciting player going forward. Taking a look at results now, like I said, against Veda, Crvena Zeta. Gosh, I am so bad at pronouncing names. But I think they'll win that match pretty comfortably on the road. I do think Atletico Madrid will be a tough match at home, but I think they come out with a win because they will be at home. Feyenoord at home again. I think that at home they managed to get a win. Bayern away, I do think will be a loss. I think Bayern are just going to kind of plow them over. Monaco away will be a challenge, but that will be an upset. I've got them winning that match. I don't think Monaco really this season are going to be all that. Losing a player like Fofana in their midfield will be challenging for them to bounce back from that. Currently looking at Monaco, obviously 2 wins and 1 draw, so they haven't lost a match yet, but I do think that later into this, next couple months of the season, when Benfica's clicking, when they're battling for a title, and Monaco's maybe falling off and struggling to maintain their Champions League positioning for next season, I could see this being an upset from Benfica. Up next, we got Bologna home. Again, home. I see them getting a win, and I also see them getting a point against Barcelona at home. They do go for the final match day to Juventus, where I do think they lose, and that's why their league stage will end. 5 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses, 16 points out of 24. I think that's enough to at least get them into the playoff stage. You can beat anyone any given day in the Champions League from there in the knockout phases. Now we're going to talk about our second club, AC Milan. Milan have had some fantastic arrivals, a few departures that may leave them a little bit short at the back. And then, of course, they've kept a lot of their top players, despite not winning the league last season, and a lot of interest from other countries. Domestically, yet to win a game in the league, so it is a bit shaky so far, but they do have new manager Paulo Fonseca replacing Pioli, so there may be some little bit of time to work out the kinks there. However, let's take a look at some of their matches in the league stage. Don't know how I feel about this draw so far. Maybe not as tough as a team like Benfica's, but Milan have to face Liverpool at home, Leverkusen away, Bruges at home, Madrid away, Slovan Bratislava away, Zvezda at home, Girona at home, and Dynamo Zagreb on the road on the final day. Taking a look at some of their arrivals, we've got Youssouf Fofana, Monaco, 20 million. I already mentioned him earlier, departing from Monaco. But taking a look at some of his stats as a midfielder, progressive passes, big one, 8.15 in the among top 5 leagues. He ranks in the top 6% of midfielders. Also 1.25 successful take-ons per 90. He's fantastic at creating shot actions. In 114 minutes, he's created 5 shot creating actions for Milan so far. However, he has gotten 1 start, played 114 minutes, as I said earlier. Could be a good season for him. He has gotten a yellow card already, so I don't think discipline will be a huge issue. He's only received 3 red cards in his career, 2 of which came in the same season. Didn't receive a red card last season at all. So I think he'll be fine there. Very big interception numbers, 1.25 per 90. Ranks him in the top, in the 72nd percentile of midfielders. So again, good numbers there. I think Fofana is a fantastic signing, sure up that midfield. Their midfield's already strong with players like Ruben Loftus-Cheeks, Raniers, the Dutch midfielder, Yunus Musa, and of course Ismail Ben Nasser. So again, solid player all around. I think that's a fantastic deal. And hopefully translates to better players, opportunities in the Champions League as well. Looking at the next player they signed, Strahinja Pavlovic, Red Bull Salzburg for 18 million. 23-year-old center back coming from Salzburg, of course, develop another talent pool of Europe. Very, very solid player all around. And taking a look at some of his numbers, 2.81 tackles per 90 in the last year, 4.95 clearances in the last year per 90, 1.47 progressive carries, and then 4.41 progressive passes, as well as the fact that he is a left-footed center back. It puts a fantastic opportunity there to pair him up with a player like a Fikayo Tomori as a right center back. Obviously, Tomori has a history of, I believe he had been playing as a left center back for them, but it's been Pavlovic and Tomori as your center back partnership, which is solid with players like Pierre Kalulu, who we'll talk about later, and Simon Kjær leaving the club. Up next, we've got, or actually, I'll go ahead and talk about them right now. Pierre Kalulu, loan with buy option. I think there's like a 3 million fee. He's at Juventus currently, and Simon Kjær who is now a free agent. The next player is Emerson Royal, 15 million from Tottenham. Not a fantastic signing in my opinion, but 93 minutes so far in Serie A. Very solid defensive numbers comparative to the top 5 leagues, UCL, Europa League over the last year. Based on 1,100 minutes-ish. So, very solid player defensively. Not fantastic going forward in the minutes he has had. So far this season, he's only created 1 shot creating action. However, he has done pretty solid in defense so far. Taking a look at it, he has made 4 progressive passes, has made 2, received 2 progressive passes, and has carried the 1 progressive carry over the last year, or this season so far. As I mentioned earlier, they're yet to win a league game under Fonseca. I do think they'll work out the kinks, though. I don't think there'll be much concern there. Next player we're going to talk about is Alvaro Morata. And first, talking about Alvaro Morata as well as Tammy Abraham, who's been brought in on loan from Roma. Charles de Ketelaere, the Belgian forward, has been sold to Atalanta for 22 million. He previously served on loan to Atalanta as well. Just kind of makes sense to go ahead and get that sell out of the way. Morata has only played 31 minutes so far, but he has netted a goal for Milan. And then Tammy Abraham as well has made 2 matches, 21 appearances, and has provided an assist as well. I do think Abraham will hopefully get back in form. Only playing 1 match last season. Actually, in fact, only playing 1 minute for Roma last season. As for Morata, I do hope to see him reach his best form again, which he has done previously, scoring 11 goals and 9 goals for Juventus. He's played previously for Juventus as well, where he's won the league twice when he was 21 and 22. He kind of bounces around, as you know already. I do hope that he can maybe set his feet here, score, a goal a game already. For Morata, could be a chance for him to find his form as well. As for some of the top players, take a look at Rafael Leao, Christian Pulisic. And your 2 wingers is a very solid place to begin. Mike Mainan in goal has been solid for them as well. Taking a look at your kind of midfield situation there, you've got Benacer as well to help with Fofana implementation into the squad. So very good midfield situation there for Milan. I do think they could challenge for the Serie A as well once they get things in order and set up under Fonseca, as well as Theo Hernandez remaining at the club. A fantastic left back, arguably best left. I'd argue Theo Hernandez is the best left back in the world currently. And then, of course, center back Fikayo Tomori, who may find his way back into the England squad with the exit of Gareth Southgate. I do think he deserves a spot. I think he's been fantastic for Milan the last few years. I think the fact he's not playing in England has hurt his career on the international stage, and I'm excited to see what he can do moving forward. As we take a look at every game, I do think that it will be ugly from the beginning for Milan. I do see them going back and losing the first 2 games. I see them losing bad at home to Liverpool, just because that game's so close to the beginning of the season. I think if it was further into the league stage, I think it might be a little closer matchup. Liverpool at home, you're playing a little bit better into November, December, or even January. I could see them picking up a point in that matchup. However, just because of where it is in the season, I think Liverpool at home, they lose that game bad. And then Leverkusen away, I think they lose that matchup as well. Bruges at home, they get back to winning ways. By this point, when they play Real Madrid away in November 5th, I do think they will get a point away to Real Madrid to continue their run. Slovan Bratislava win on the road. Zvezda, again, win at home. Girona, a win at home. And then Dynamo Zagreb, on the final day, they do go out and they get a win. That puts them 5 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. The exact same as Benfica. 16 points out of 24. But again, I do think that there will need to be some things to change for Milan if they want to be that dark horse. I do see if both those teams make it into the playoff stage, I do think Milan's got the better chance of making it through, just based on their attacking options. And then I see Benfica obviously possibly losing in that playoff stage. If both teams make it and they're facing each other, I'd pick Milan to win that game. Now we've got our final club that we're going to talk about. It's Bayer Leverkusen, a fantastic season they're coming off of. Europa League final, winning the DFB Pokal, winning the Bundesliga title. Xabi Alonso has done a fantastic job at Leverkusen. I'm so happy to see that he's staying at Leverkusen. He could have probably taken the Liverpool job. He could probably go and take the Real Madrid job halfway through this season if he wanted to, if Carlo Ancelotti ended up vacating it. But I am super excited. He probably could have even taken the Bayern Munich job. He may have been talked to about that as well. But he's maintained his loyalty to Leverkusen, and we're going to see him manage for another season. Fingers crossed, an entire season with Leverkusen, who have actually lost their first domestic match under Xabi Alonso this season. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but let's talk about their league stage matches first. They got Feyenoord away, Milan at home, which we've already talked about, Stade Brestois, I believe is how you pronounce it, away, Liverpool away, Red Bull Salzburg home, Inter at home, Atletico Madrid away, and Sparta Prague at home. Solid team that they've got that they've mostly managed to keep together. They got Adam Hrozek, who they've sold to Hoffenheim for 18 million, only made 5 starts, played under 500 minutes, did contribute 5 goals to the side off of the bench. But 22 years old, he wants to go get his chance as a starter, and he's going to get that this season, I believe, with Hoffenheim. I think he's already started 2 matches for them. this season, or at least made 2 appearances so far this season. First player we're going to talk about is Martin Terrier, coming in from Stade Rennais, adds depth to their wings as a fantastic player for 20 million euros, that is. Taking a look at his stats compared to attacking mids and wingers from last season, he's probably got the better defensive stats. Non-penalty goals, 0.35. Non-penalty expected goals, 0.3. Better than most of your attacking mids and wingers. If they want to use him as a forward, we'll compare him to forwards. Progressive passes, 3.55. 1.77 progressive carries. Again, solid defensive numbers, so he can track back as needed. He'll probably play as more of a left mid, if I had to guess, for them, with offering a little bit of depth all over the front line as they need it, with Adam Hozek obviously departing, as we've already mentioned. Next signing we're going to talk about is from Girona, 27 years old, but had a fantastic campaign with them. Alex Garcia, great midfielder. Obviously, 8.85 progressive passive is the number. Passes, that is the number that stands out. 1.78 progressive carries, so he can do it with the ball at his feet, or he can do it, passing out to other players as well. Ranked in the top 3% of midfielders when it comes to progressive passes, though. A number that definitely stands out. Top 9% in shot creating actions, 3.86. Has got 2 matches played, 99 minutes so far for the German champions, but I am excited to see what he can do there as well. With Granit Xhaka not getting any younger, he is a player that offers depth in that position behind Granit Xhaka. So, competition in that position as well. Granit Xhaka coming off a fantastic season, arguably the best season of his career. Actually, not even arguably, definitely the best season of his career. Alex Garcia, definitely a solid backup or starter, whichever they want to do as they rotate that squad. The next player we've got is Genuel Boloshin, another player from Stade Rennais. Not sure he'll see many minutes. He's yet to make an appearance for them so far. I imagine he could be loaned out in January if he doesn't get the minutes maybe he desires. Is a defender. Don't know too much about him. 19 years old, though, so he's definitely one for the future when it comes to Bayer Leverkusen. Not going to help them this year's campaign. The final player we're going to talk about that's a signing is Nori Mukiele. Fantastic fullback. Great defensive numbers with 1.48 interceptions per 90, 2 blocks per 90, 3.06 blocks or clearances per 90, 2.85 aerials, 1 per 90. He's 6'1", has experience playing at center back, has experience playing as a right fullback, has played as a wing back, has done a little bit of everything. Only 853 minutes last season, so do hope to see a little bit more action from him this season. But he's been playing for PSG for the last 2 seasons where he hasn't seen much of the field. Of course, he's got Hakimi in front of him, so that's somewhat expected. But again, Nori Mukiele hopefully gets to prove himself this season as a backup for Jeremy Frimpong, or even a right center back as they see necessary. Taking a look at a few players from this past season, obviously Victor Boniface returns, top scorer from last season, and the top assister was Grimaldo, a left wing back, has done fantastic since coming in from Benfica. Was a top left back when he was at Benfica, and I was surprised that nobody came in for him anytime sooner. Of course, you got the likes of Jeremy Frimpong as well, that partners as the other fullback, the right wing back for Leverkusen. Just offers so much width to that team, and just 2 unreal players. Next, we're going to talk about the midfield situation. Obviously, they've kept Palacios, Xhaka, Wirtz, added Alex Garcia, but they've also managed to keep defenders in Tapsoba, in the Ecuadorian center back in Hinsapi, and Jonathan Tah, of course. Has been a shaky defensive record early this season. Palacios out injured is kind of a reason for that, not so much the defensive capabilities of Palacio, but more so the ball retention that he offers. Anyways, let's go ahead. Let's talk about their matches itself. So Feyenoord away, I do think they go on the road this upcoming opening week of Champions League matches and go and win at Feyenoord. I think Milan is, of course, as I've already said, they win that match. Brest away, I think they win. Liverpool away, I think they lose. I think that one could be a very, very difficult match for Alonso. And then Salzburg home, they win. Inter home, again, a win at home. I think that Leverkusen fans, being in the Champions League and coming off such a successful season, there's a lot to be excited about. I think that's why they'll do very well at their home matches. Atletico Madrid away, I think they take to the road and get a point from that match. And then last, Sparta Prague, I think they win that one as well. 6 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. That would put them at 19 points out of 24, which pretty much guarantees that they will be going into the final, I believe it's quarterfinal. There'll be 8 teams left. No, the round of 16, excuse me. I think that pretty easily Bayer Leverkusen may go straight into the round of 16. I think Bayer Leverkusen, as I've already kind of alluded to, I think semifinals. I think they could make the final. They made a Europa League final last season, just lost because Lookman played the game of his life and is now a 70 million euro player. But besides that, those are my 3 dark horses. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and want to see more of it, be sure to subscribe because you're going to see videos like this coming from me on the breakdown every single Tuesday. Mostly talking about Premier League, but we do talk about other leagues, the Champions League, things like that as well. If you want to see a little bit more of the fun stuff where we talk about top 10 players, we talk about transfers, we talk about things like that, we do Friday Flair as well. So you be sure to check that out on the channel. We got a few of those uploaded and you'll probably see it here at the end of this video, and as well as a button to subscribe as well so you never miss another video just like this. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.